Good morning.
We're learning that I'm already technology.
So bad with technology. It's fine. How does he survive? It's 2023. Like, how are you even? You're like a bad millennial.
I think I'll share
You're
more on
like
that.
the generic brand of millennial. You know? You're like
Yeah,
the Kroger of millennials. You like don't know a lot of pop
I'm like the
culture.
Macy's.
You never saw a League of Their Own until last year. You probably don't know one, like trendy like show, like you've never seen Friends. Like
I
how did
must
you survive? How did you get here?
I must have been an offshoot of the greatest generation of our era. I'm
Like
probably my soul. My
how
soul
are you
probably
still
belongs.
with us?
My soul probably belongs in the 40s. I'm just an old
You were
grumpy
not at
man.
40s. You were probably like
What era? What era?
you were
What's my
probably like
generation?
Woodstock,
What?
like
Hey
just
man.
yeah, yeah.
Now what the heck?
Just no, just just no
So
care for.
welcome to
I
the.
feel like because like everybody had like I have like there are some eras or time periods where I'm like, wow. I think maybe there is some part of me that like I just like get that era so well. You like don't have that. It's very like, hey guys, let's just have a good time. You're like the van on Cars, the
Wait, so let
gas
me get this straight.
van.
You come from the multiple selection of eras where it's like cool, edgy, witty, sharp, stylish, with a pizzazz. And then I'm like, Woodstock, man, 1969.
Yeah, you're like, how do I share?
No,
How do I share posts? Facebook's
well,
asking me what I'm doing right now.
technology inept. That doesn't mean you came from that era.
We're gonna pretend like it's just technology. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a good man.
I'm a good man.
I know you are.
You're gonna get a lot. You're gonna get a
Oh
lot
my
of hate mail for this one.
gosh. It's just so good though. Um, so Zach has started off the week not knowing much about technology, but we're here, so I'm just getting this to where it needs to go. But we have some exciting things coming up within the next 2 weeks, which is really exciting. We've got another challenge of commitment going on for our health coaching clients. We have 2 workshops coming up in the fall. So like mark your calendars now, because that's what everybody does. Everybody's like, oh, I want to come to your next one. I want to come to your next one. And then we get closer and closer and they're like, oh shoot. And it's like, no, just put it on your calendar, just make it a priority. So you got time to move stuff around and make it happen, because it is a life-giving weekend to your relationship, right? So why not?
Yes.
And I have something to say. So, because it's been on my mind.
I'm ready.
And we kind of talked about it last night, actually. We actually kind of talked a little bit about it last night in a different type of way. But what has been occurring for me, what occurred last night for us a little bit, is that, especially that it's summertime and there is a lot of summer shred, get a six pack or something, or like a lot of like magic potion drinks to make you, lose 50 pounds in a week or something. And, or even there's new weight loss drugs out there too. So it's like there are all of these things to help you get like these super quick, insane looking, okay, I'm saying like just by the eyeballs, results before and after. You could even and similarly, you can read the 5 love languages, or you could do a Gottman love map or something and be like, oh my gosh, it was so life-giving to our relationship. It was like black and now it's white and whoa, or whatever. Like, it's like very like instant. It's very like before, after. It's like very like, yes, quick, that quick like dopamine result. Here's something, result. Here's something, result. Here's something, result. But you know what? I have like a shout out for the people who got the result and are actually creating and living inside that result still years later. Like, that is actually the hard thing. And it's tricky because you can't show that. You just have to like live that. And so they're, especially on Instagram, and even when we share a lot of before and afters because that's what people can see. But what you don't see is that that person, I could share another not transformational photo of that same person now, and they look the same. And that's actually the hardest part. That is actually the part where the habits change. That's actually the part where you have actual internal transformation, where you get like amazing blood work from the doctor and they're like, whoa, what is going on here? You've really changed some things. Like, that's when those things happen. That's when relationships change because people have like more capacity for them. Similarly, in the community that we're in with relationship, it's like we see people come to a workshop or whatever, and they want it to be like a quick before and after. And when they come for that result, it's like they may experience that a little bit, but unless they like stay engaged with their relationship, it just goes back to the beginning, just like a regular yo-yo. So it's actually like, shout out to the people who like keep showing up and are still engaged and getting and keeping those like same results. Like, that is actually the hardest part.
It's also hard to be seen and known by old friends or family in a new way if each time they interact with you, it's interacting with you as like they want to interact with the old version of you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're also not only seeing life along with change,
Yeah.
you're also sometimes there's a healthy tension that occurs in relationship because what you're up to is not like interacting. It's kind of like I throw a story loop at you of how I know you, and you're like you dodge it, and you're like, oh, I know I'm not going to interact the same way. I don't interact the same way. And that I think that there's a lot of fear in the background for a lot of people. I think about when you were sharing, I was thinking about why do some people really they do a challenge and then they stay that way, and then 5 years later they're actually still maintaining a healthier habits that facilitate their longevity in relationships and finances and health. And then it's why some don't. And sometimes I wonder how much of that has to do with the quality of the relationships, and not just that, the interactions they have and the stories that they have. Because you're going to default back. 'Cause it's very tempting to default back to your most familiar, not lowest level, most familiar. Because sometimes it's not about good or bad. It's not about like it's better over here and worse over there. But there's a purpose or a value that you're up to in your life, but you're going to default back to the most familiar story that takes less
effort,
creative effort to design.
Less creation.
Yes, because creation takes a little bit of uncertainty in how the stories are interacting with each other. And you see that in relationships too, and you see that in your health, and you see that you talk to a lot of people, and there's a lot of desire there, but I think there's not a lot of desire to show up in a place that's completely unknown and unattached from how you historically know yourself.
And arguably, when you really decide, like, okay, I'm not going back there, I'm really deciding to change whatever those relationship habits were, whatever those health habits were, I am really like, I am moving forward in my life with the results that I have. Is that before you get to that point, it can seem like a loss. But I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank for almost 4 years.
It's been that long?
It's been that long. Yeah. And I've been completely sober for over a year. So when you really think, okay, I only know that person who likes to have a little fun on the weekends, and I don't know what it's like to not have fun on the weekends without those pacifiers, whatever they may be. And when you're trying to create and you also have an attachment to the old ways, it's really hard to actually see forward. When you actually get to that point of like, oh my goodness, I have this result I want, or I have this, and you decide, okay, I'm going to just keep moving forward in this, it actually gets really fun because you can see a little bit more clearly. You can see a little bit more with a little bit more freedom because you're not trying to protect an old story behind you. Because I can say with absolute certainty that if it wasn't for looking ahead in small increments when I stopped having alcohol, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But it was like 30 days. I can make it to 60 days. I can make it to 90. And then we were supposed to go on a cruise, but then 2020 happened. And I was like, I can make it to the cruise. I can drink on the cruise. Yeah, no problem. And then that cruise never happened. And then, but what was changing in the meantime was like learning all of these things about myself and what else I could do. You know, and then that story actually became stronger, and I actually liked it more than starting to drink again and what would happen of the repercussions of that. Right. So it's like if you just keep like creating the new story, and that's a hard part because you can't like see it. Like that's not like the big drastic change of transformation that people like to see in their relationship. Like we've seen couples, and we just had one. We see couples who will do the workshop that we lead, and then they'll come back and they'll do it years later, and they will think, oh, I don't think I remember anything. I don't know if I think we need like a refresher. And what's so present is that they actually were so in it that they were living it and they didn't notice because it just became a part of like their being. It just became like a normal thing. And then they show up, but when they show up again at a workshop, they're showing up at another level in the relationship. And that jump is like so small it can seem like unnoticeable. So shout out to those people who are just like staying engaged in whatever area of growth you are like facing right now. Because if you've gotten to a certain goal, if you've gotten to a certain goal result, or maybe you accomplished, maybe you did a race or endurance event of some kind, maybe you just got to this like certain point, like way to go for like looking at, okay, well, how do I create from here now? Or how do I actually stay here because I'm really enjoying this? That's the hard part, I think. Yeah. You look tired. Are you tired?
Yeah.
Zach looks like he has nothing to say today, which is not normal.
No, that's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
Because you feel like that a lot sometimes too, because you don't, at this point in your health journey, for example, any change that you're going to get is going to be very, very gradual. It won't be like,
it's frustrating.
It won't be like, bam, black and white, like, boom, I did this for 5 days and look at me now. It's like, no, because you're like way beyond that point.
Not just gradual.
So I'm just recognizing you because nobody can see the change I've seen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not just recognizable, it's more painful too, because the change takes usually longer, and it's also more intentional to get any sort of like remote result that you actually want. Like I still like, I'm trying to get like one of my goals now, I'm trying to get a little bit stronger, but I don't know where I already can see a roadblock is I don't know what my actual, I guess I don't know what the broader purpose or goal is in the sense that I don't know. Am I actually, I would, if you say, are you trying to get like a Zac Efron kind of like Baywatch body? I'm like,
that's insane.
No. Well, just somewhat like, or like, are you trying to look like this guy and like maybe a more tone? Like, I don't know. I just want to be stronger. Like, what does that mean? And I think that's, I think what when you have made a dramatic 180 shift, making 2 to 3 degree shifts in your life take that much more intention, because it's like you're a little dingy boat and you want more security, you want more stability, so you graduate to like a small yacht, and before you know it, you're this massive, huge cruise ship, and it takes 1 degree turn in the water can offset your life, or redirect your life exponentially. But those 1 degree shifts aren't noticeable at first, and you don't really realize how much of a change and a new pathway you've taken until you look back and see where that 1 degree shift took you. So you do that, and then you don't see it for a couple miles in the boat example, or a couple years in your life example, and you wonder why. You think about giving up. You wonder why it's not working. You wonder why. And I think that's what I am confronted with when it comes to like physical leveling up. Like, okay, well, I don't
I would
notice a
say even
difference.
relationally too. I think that giving up, that quitting point, is probably about 1/3 or less of the time it actually takes. Like, I think we watch and we see and we experience people giving up on themselves probably a good 1/8. If we were to divide their journey by eighths, 1/8 in. Like, people have no idea how long these types of things, if you want drastic transformation in your relationship, in your health, in your finances, like, I think people give up about 1/8 into their process before seeing it through.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really true. I mean, really, like, people are like, oh, I don't think it's not moving fast enough. It's like, who told you it was going to move fast or was supposed to? Like, why do you think you've never gotten results you've wanted before?
Well, you could say it's the same as, it is the same with it. Yeah. With relationships too. Cause if you interact with somebody, like the example we always use, if you're a brick wall and you become a bed sheet, the basketball can't interact with the brick wall the same way as it can with a bed sheet. And one or two throws, you might be confused and wonder what's happening. And you might notice in a different event. But if you have this collection of decades or just years behind you, or just thousands of examples behind you of the interaction being one way, you're not going to let one or two examples alter your entire thought process and your entire paradigm of thinking. So even though you might see quote unquote a result, or instead of a result is a benefit, you're not going to flip your entire collection of memory to that new way of being yet. It takes enough repetitive situations to have the confidence. You almost have to like start to rewire, because there will be a point in time, because right now you're like, oh, I've been drinking for 4 years, but again, there's nothing wrong if you do or don't, but if you keep this up and you don't drink, or even if you do, it doesn't matter. It's just, if you did, there will be a point where you'll have not drank in for longer than you have drank. And then your actual memory is more of, I actually don't drink at all. Like, that's more of your memory. And there was a period of your time where you did, and then now you don't, versus right now you don't, but you did.
And so
like, there's actually a higher fraction.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so hard when you are trying to make change to your mind habits, your thought habits, your relationship, your health. That's why it's so hard. That's why it, like, you will always come up against new challenges, because you are actually learning yourself in a new way. And until you do it over and over and over again, and you're in that point of creation and allowing that new opportunity and letting that old story just be there, right? Because you're so engaged in creating a new story, it's going to feel like a long time. Like, it's going to take longer than you want. And, in relationship, it's really powerful, because you may be experiencing maybe your own process, your own journey from where you're at. Meanwhile, you have somebody over there who's trying to catch up, and they might be going a different pace. So maybe you're somebody who blasted through something because you were really hungry, and they're still like really hurting and confused over there. So they're moving at a snail's pace. Like, it's going to take a minute. And we see I would say too many relationships or too many journeys of any kind quit on themselves, stop, because they think nothing is actually happening. And it's really unfortunate, because when that happens, what they're actually walking away from is really just more of being stuck. Because if you're looking for a quick result in anything, there are so many things that you can just, and then you just get back into that habit. And that is the habit. Like, that is it. And like, staying engaged is so much harder. So, yeah.
That's a good topic today.
You're welcome. So I told you I want to just.
Yeah, you did. I think that's good. I think that's a good wrap-up spot.
Okay. So to this week, the only other day we'll go live is Friday because we have a class on Thursday.
We do.
So.
Yes. Which is exciting. More to come on that.
Yeah. So we'll go live Friday. If you need a kick in the butt, we are starting another, 6-month commitment. 6-week commitment in 2 weeks. And it's going to be fun. We're creating it now. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And it will take you all the way through the end of July, which is pretty awesome because how I see it is during the summertime, especially during the summertime, where there's so many opportunities to be outside, kids are home. So maybe that makes things more challenging. Vacations, camping, yada, yada, yada. I mean, like right now, I'm helping a client through, she's going on her first camping trip, right? And she's like, what do I do? And it's like, okay, like let's have some fun. It's like really fun learning that can happen with sticking to your goals and still being able to like have a good time and using it as a time for learning versus a time of like, oh, I'm gonna miss out. It's like, no, there's like, let's just like learn some cool stuff.
Well, and I think there's also an enroll because don't avoid the opportunity to create allies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we do that a lot. We try to hide like, oh, I don't want anybody to know. It's
well,
like, why?
or make it sound weird because it's like everyone. It's like there's a different. You do have to take into more of an accountability. One more topic.
Well, that's what
you have to take more radical accountability over like you're responsible for your own. You have a team, you have coaches, but at the end of the day, you have to choose to take a step. Like you could have the ropes, the hands, the signs, the roadmap. Someone could start your car and warm up the seats for you and everything and defrost the windows, but you still have to get in and hit the gas and turn the wheel. And the same is with like camping or any sort of like fun activity. And like where I've fell when I go into a situation and you don't have success is because you don't want to be a burden or you don't want to be either made fun of or you don't want to deal with.
Or you don't want to feel like the person who's not having any fun.
Yeah, or you don't want to be like the wet blanket in the room, and the person that's like, oh, we invited you, but you don't want to do anything we're doing. And just notice that that's over there with them, not you. And yeah, that's about it.
It's true. So it's a great opportunity to practice and learn some things of how to navigate while you're out reaching for some goals. And honestly, like if you share goals or you share like, yeah, I'm working towards something right now, and the people around you are like, that's stupid. That's a whole nother conversation. So
no, if they say that, it's just get new friends.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah. It's like very
I said it.
What?
Get new friends. They can still be your friends, but get new friends.
Yeah, get better ones.
Doesn't mean don't be friends with them. I said just get new friends. That's all I said.
No, I would say you can. It's okay.
You can still love them. No, you can still love them for where you're.
Yeah, but you don't got to see them as much, during this time. That's fine. And if they get their feelings hurt, that's not on you. Stop being a butthead. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready to do this?
All right, double team. Ready?
If
1, 2, 3,
can.
go.
Bye.